Today on the Skid Factory, it's time to give the daily driver crown a much needed boost. Welcome back to the Skid Factory. We're up in sunny yet surprisingly windy and cold Toowoomba, up at Golby's Parts. We've brought the daily driver crown wagon with us, and we're going to do some mods. Golby's Parts have been working on a bunch of different upgrade kits for different JZ powered vehicles. The common old JZS171 Chaser is no longer an affordable vehicle for many people, so they've started looking into all the other JZ powered cars that some people probably didn't even know exist. They've got the non-turbo versions of some of the Chasers, JZS171. They've got these ones, which are actually quite commonly imported now. There's all sorts. So he's looking into some of these other vehicles so he can try and make parts or performance stuff more affordable and available for you guys if you want to get into a JZ powered car without having to get a house loan. To kick things off, we're with Jesse at Madoc Tuning. We've got the car up on the dyno. We're going to do a run to see how much power it makes, completely standard. And then we're going to start bolting on some new parts. We've got a dump pipe, then a full exhaust system. We've got an intercooler kit, right down to the J-pipe delete, which is the fantastic noise prevention device. Then we might move on to some more cool stuff like sneaky Haltex and fuel system upgrades. Let's get stuck into it.
Morning, Jesse.
Morning. How's it going?
Good, man. How you going?
Yeah, good.
You're the brains behind the dyno operator here, right? Yeah, righto. You've already done a run on this, so you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, all right, sweet.
Jesse just rolled off 3 runs in a row with a couple of minutes in between. The first run's obviously the best. This is heat soak at work, 241 horsepower. That's pretty much what I'd expect to see given the 280 horsepower that they quote. Is that what you'll normally see from a stock one?
Sounds about right. Yep.
11 pound boost. So these things they don't use a lot of boost in these things. They're just a pretty good engine. So let's see if we can make it better. Rotaries are rare, bro.
Rotaries are rare, bro.
How's that for hot sauce? Do you know what that's for? I know what it's for.
What sort of 2-cylinder engine is going to have a turbo this big?
Comment below.
Comment below and like and subscribe.
You hungry? How about a donut?
This is the fab shed. This is the R&D bay where Ryan, Matt and Isaac, the apprentice, work. This is the dump pipe that's going on. It's 3.5 inch, drops down to 3. It's got a proper bellow that won't fall into 1,000 bits. So first up we're going to fit this up, or these guys are anyway.
Why aren't you getting your hands dirty, Alan?
I don't know.
Come on, Ryan, put the tools down. Alan's the guy here.
So these guys have done all the sort of the work designing this and also jigging it. So it's going to be sort of a manufactured item so you guys can buy it. We were talking about the differences between this particular chassis and the more common in Australia JZS171. Obviously the engine's the same, but about down to here is the same, and then stuff goes wrong. So there's obviously little manufacturing differences there's floor pan differences and stuff like that. So a lot of people have found over the years that you can't just buy something from Japan, say for an older model, and fit it to these cars, which if you want to do it in your garage at home, that's where you're going to have problems. Like if you don't have the equipment that we or these guys have got, you're in trouble. So the whole idea of this project is to make it so anyone can fit it and it fits properly. So, and it works as well. Sounding good?
Sweet.
Do a skid. Can't, because the floor's painted. Hate painted floors.
That's why you don't paint the floors.
I know. Because it just rubs off anyway.
Hang on. We don't do skids in the shed anyway, so we can't talk.
I did a skid in that car.
That one time.
Once. When it had worn out 12-year-old tyres on it. So we're ready to run it up with just the dump pipe on and the rest of the exhaust still standard. This is actually just for testing for Goleby's purposes only. They need to know what change that dump pipe's going to make, so we can tell whether if it overboosts, that's going to be an issue. So we're just along for the ride. This is more just their testing, so they know they're going to sell you the right product. Jesse's just done a quick run on it, and it's actually just peeled off exactly the same, well, give or take a horsepower, to what it did in its cold state before. So
yeah, exactly the same.
the exhaust system's obviously the restriction, so that's all right.
That jump in torque at the start there though, Jesse, is that purely...
Just difference in how I'm starting the ramp, I think. Yep. Yeah, just slightly more boost pressure there, probably looking
No change in boost pressure
once it's stable.
once it's stable. So now we'll rip the exhaust off and put the new one on and see what happens. Hell yeah, brother. Oh wait, that's copyright.
Is that copyright? So what, is there a wager going here or something? What's the go? Are we putting money down on power bets?
Friendly guesses, you know, friendly guesses. Yeah, I reckon 270.
270?
270, yeah.
That big of a jump?
I reckon. 265.
What did it make with just a dump pipe?
Nothing.
Exhaust is the limiter.
You can make more than that now.
Hopefully.
Jesse's run it up a couple of times with the full exhaust system on it. It's made about 12 horsepower gain, which is not really the whole story. The main reason for this testing is to make sure that the car doesn't overboost. And it's only increased the boost pressure by about half a PSI, which is to be expected. It also indicates that the turbo's actually got a reasonable size wastegate on, internal wastegate on it, and it's able to control everything. This is a good thing because if you buy this and you bolt it on, you're not going to hit overboost, which can be a real problem.
What is overboost on this, do you know?
It's about 13 or 14 pound. It depends because it's probably airflow meter based, so sort of volume based. But now we're going to put the intercooler on and see what happens there after we have a kebab.
Thanks. Olives? You want an olive?
Yep, bloody hell, thank you.
Did you just whip these up, did you?
I did, mate. I'm Goleby's personal kebab getter. That's why he employs me.
Here's the old versus new for the intercooler setup. Side mount intercooler, very common on pretty much most JZ powered cars except for the old A70s and that. Obviously, it's a pretty big core actually, but it's more of a double stacked thing, which is not great for airflow for a start. Front mount says the story. It's in the front. It's getting good airflow, so it's going to work the best. This is the entry level intercooler. It's a Plasma Man Street series. There is options for better intercooler cores that fit in the same spot as well. It's worth noting that you'll have to do a slight amount of trimming to the car. It's nothing out of the ordinary for fitting a front mount. We'll get some footage of that later. The cores don't tell the whole story though, of course. There is the piping. This is probably the worst offender that runs underneath the car. It's a flattened out piece of plastic that's probably about 2.5 inch. All that's going to be replaced with this nice 3-inch aluminium piping. Welding is absolutely spot on. I love to see a good quality intercooler kit, and I also love seeing it made in Queensland.
Bless you.
Very good, very nice.
The front mount kit's all fitted up. As you can see, it's just peeking through the sides there, just enough to let everyone know that you're straight gangster. Turbo back exhaust is obviously still on there, so we've loaded it back on the dyno and we're ready to give it another run and see what happens.
You're not straight gangster.
How could you say that?
I
Jesse's just run the car up a couple more times with the intercooler on, with the front mount set up on it, and it's made about 9 horsepower more, which is great. But the other half of the story is that each time he ran it, it was consistent. So with the side mount intercooler, each time we ran it, it would lose power because it's became heat soaked and was not working efficiently. So that's kind of the reason why we go to a front mount. It's because it's got better frontal area and everything just works better. So now we're changing over the intake pipe. This is probably one of the last sort of bolt-on mods we're going to do before we start fiddling around with ECUs and stuff like that. But we'll just stick the basically a pod filter setup on it rather than the airbox. and run up again and see what that does. I reckon it's going to make good noises. We're pretty much done with this part of the modification path. We've got full exhaust system, intercooler and an intake pipe on it. We've come from 241 horsepower to 270. The last thing that we did was actually put a boost tee on it just to try and find where the boost cut was, because that's going to be an important reference to people that may do this modification on their car. We didn't actually find a cut, but we found that it's most likely once it goes past a certain airflow meter voltage, it's just going, righto, you're not having any more, and it's basically dragging the engine down by other means, valve timing and probably ignition timing as well. So that's kind of the best we could do, and that was only at 13 pounds, so it's a 2.5 pound increase over standard. So the results are great, and that's probably all you can really expect out of bolt-on mods. After this, you really need to get into that computer, because it's not going to allow you to make much more power than that anyway, because of its internal protection. So next up, we're going to fit a Haltech Elite 750, and we're also going to do just a fuel system upgrade to account for any future gains that we might be looking for. So we'll get stuck into that and get it back on the dyno.
More power.
More power.
This is my jazz flute.
We just finished fitting up the fuel system and ECU. So the fuel system is a surge tank that's mounted underneath the car, sort of near the bell housing starter motor area. The main reason for it is not so much for surge protection, it's because the factory fuel tank is very difficult to work with. So it's just simpler to put a big fuel pump in that tank. It's got its own wiring system, so it's all powered straight off the battery via a relay. AN lines, a new regulator, so everything's sort of independent of the original car's setup. That's quite a common way of doing it on a late model car, where they just get too difficult, or there's no way to put a decent pump in them. So that's all done. The injectors have been replaced with, I think they're thousands, so it's ready for E85 later. It's probably going to get a big turbo fitted to it later on. We've got the Elite 750 with a patch harness from Goleby's in there. It's got a few add-ons to suit little bit, just extras that we wanted on it. It's all housed on that bracket that the boys have made. That makes it look pretty nice, I reckon. It's one of my favourite parts of this whole setup. So we've got it fired up. We've had a bit of a dead battery issue, which is not surprising because it's bloody like 5 degrees in the middle of the day here, and that battery's of unknown age. So we're just going to get another battery, and then it's off to the dyno, and we'll see what it can do.
Off to the dyno, meaning it's 5 metres away.
Across the car park to the dyno and see what it can do.
Hi, Matt.
Someone's gonna be rich.
accuracy, man, wow. That's going to wrap up the dyno session on the Crown. As you can see, there's incremental gains to be had with these engines, which is pretty JZ standard. Our choke point on this car is now the turbo. We can't get any more boost into it because the turbo does not want to give us any. So we went from 240 horsepower as standard to 280 with these mods. The computer and fuel system mods weren't really part of the scope of the bolt-on stuff. This has actually been done because the car is coming back to get a big turbo put on it, as you can expect from us. So it will be back to get a G30 Garrett turbo system put on it, which is going to give us some big gains, but we needed to do all this stuff first. So this is a good way of going about it. The intercooler and exhaust system, they're the easy ones, and they do work. Like we've showed the gains that you're getting about 10 horsepower each. But as I mentioned to Goleby before, as an old guy, I keep forgetting that one of the gains that you get from an exhaust system in an intercooler is sound and style and that sort of thing. So I'm sure that applies to you people that are half my age. So
words from your mouth, a straight gangster with a front mount intercooler.
Yeah, it is. You just need to cut a big hole here so you can see it. So these products will be available by the time you see this. So this is pretty fresh right now, but if you don't see it on the Goleby's website, just give them a call. They are available. The boys in the fab shop, Ryan, Isaac and Matt, are flat out designing and manufacturing this stuff. It's all done here in Toowoomba in Queensland, so you are getting quality Australian made stuff, and that is important for everybody, particularly us Australians. So support your local guys. Thanks to Christian and all the crew at Goleby's Parts for having us up here. Thanks to Luke from Carl's Garage for doing the wiring work on the car. He very nice and neat job on it, and we then proceeded to put it in all upside down and backwards. So he had to come and slap us on the wrist and fix it. Thanks, mate. And also a big thanks to Jesse from Madoc Tuning, whose premises this is. He's located in the same sort of building complex as Goleby's in Toowoomba, so if you need some tuning work done, you know where to find him. That's all we got. We're going to jump in the car, fill it up, and head back home. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.
Hey Matt, I thought I was going grey, man. Jeez Louise.
I know. That's what kids do, you know.
What's your excuse? Particularly this one, as you can see, it's
He was waiting.
Alan, maybe you need to drill out your oil pump because it's leaking here. You've done a Jake and Friends. What's your bearing clearance like in there?
In this,
Yeah.
well, it's probably going to be a bit more later on today. But
Oh, dang. Maybe that's cam seals leaking down.
it's cool.
No, there's oil everywhere, Alan.
It's washing all the oil off.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
So who's the winner of the kitty? Who picked the
I think it will be Naomi.
Personally, I think you should put it back into a pool and go again.
Nah, fair is fair. We just all overshot the prize.
I'm only saying that because I didn't win.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say 340? I meant 240. I still would have lost.
Still would have lost.
All right.
I was actually going to do this.
Cash out to Naomi then. Congrats.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Nug for the win. Sorry, Alan. Better luck next time. Actually, you owe
I'll
me
be right, I didn't put any money in.
You owe me $5. I paid for your $5.